Yeah, because why would we want to? We don't want anyone to know we're around.
Let
Yeah,
me
right.
take the tape off of my camera really quick.
Yeah. Hey, I actually do have a privacy cover on mine. Yeah,
Hey,
just
no, like serious, like honestly,
Oh,
there's nothing wrong with that. I really was just kind of
yeah.
joking. There is a good reason to have those, which I guess is maybe kind of something that we could talk about today.
today.
Oh yeah.
Where's our chair? We need our
Oh
chair.
yeah.
We
I
gotta have
mean,
our chair.
I don't remember what I sent you guys last week, but
It wasn't a chair.
oh yeah, it was the Beans computer, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know, because last week we skipped last week, so the last one we
Was
had
it
for this was a chair of
the
some type. It was the microphone.
oh was it?
Yeah,
I have another microphone.
that was the karaoke chair. Oh my God, there's more.
Yeah.
Or feel like Billy Mays right now. Wait, there's more.
Hmm.
Oh crap! I did that again. I gotta stop mousing over this window.
I mean, there's just so many good ones. All right.
Well, let's just
Well, there's one.
yeah. I'm like, oh, that is,
Was a chair. Okay.
but it's $40, man. That's
What is
not
that?
bad. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's not
not
a bad price.
$40 for a gaming chair. I mean, come on. I mean that's
Yeah, right.
custom. That is straight custom right there. That
I would
looks
have to say
Yeah.
the one thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have any wheels though.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's
Yeah, but it is.
stationary. I mean, it's got to be comfortable as hell. I mean, it looks like it's out of a freaking Ford LTD or some shit.
I was
Yeah, it'd be
thinking
pretty
minivan.
realistic for driving games.
Yeah.
Put your seatbelt on.
Soccer mom driving.
Yep. There you go. It works.
And they went ahead and
It's still got the buckle there.
yeah,
The snap part
Well,
for
you got to be
the shoulder.
safety,
On. Yeah.
safe, right?
I like
Right.
that they went ahead and built it a stand for you too. Like,
I mean, I need to put a 5-point harness on this thing so I can strap myself in because when I pass out in it, that way I don't fall out.
yeah.
Great.
It like happens all the time, man. Alright. So what do we uh, this weekend's Memorial Day, right? Anybody doing anything cool? No.
No, it
It's a
was
gun show.
Yeah, that's right. You did
it
go.
was
You were going to the gun show.
last weekend was Victoria Day in Canada, so it was a 3-day weekend.
Oh, so you get yeah. I was gonna say so in Canada. Yeah, you guys that was your Memorial Day then, huh?
I guess
Is
so. I
that
don't.
Memorial Day? Yeah. What is Victoria Day?
I don't know the histor. It's like the Queen Victoria's
Geez, what kind of
birthday or
Canadian
something.
are you? My God.
I know, a fake one.
No. But so
So
you don't have a 3-day weekend this weekend. So
I
yours was
don't
less.
know actually. I don't know. So
It must be nice not
the
to care.
well,
I'm over here
it's a double-edged
excited.
sword.
I know. I have a 3-day weekend this weekend,
Yeah.
so
Well, I had a 2-day weekend, or have a 2-day weekend.
Which
which
is
is
like a
bonus for
3-day
you.
weekend. Yeah,
Yeah, I know, right? Because I usually only get 1 day off.
yeah, it's a weekend plus one for you,
Yeah,
for
there you
everyone.
go. And I can still get paid for it, so that's nice.
That's always a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Anyway, welcome to Technically Incorrect, the podcast where we talk about random shit. I am Rob, and over here we have Joe and Scott. Say hi, Scott.
Hello.
Everybody pointing. Okay.
Howdy.
Anyway,
He didn't want me to say hi, just you.
yeah, no,
Well, I mean,
no. Joe can just smile. He's just got that smirk on his face. That works. Now Scott's got a smirk on his face. Damn it! Can't we have our own individualities, please? No? Alright.
Just contagious. That's all.
So I wanted to
so I
talk
got
about.
my.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I am excited. I have a vaccine appointment coming up in a couple weeks.
Good
Starting to
job.
roll them out here. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a couple of the people I know in Canada. They had said that they had started to get their first shots or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but that's good. Maybe you guys will come off a lockdown then, because it's still pretty tight up there, isn't it?
I mean, yes
Or
and no. Like,
or is people have just
um,
stopped caring pretty much like they have here?
no,
But
I mean,
Florida
people
doesn't really
care.
have much restriction anymore, so
Yeah, I mean, people still wear masks here and stuff. But you know, I don't hear any horror stories of people getting like pulled over for being out and about. Like, it's not super strict. You can go
Yeah.
out and do things
God, people
pretty
getting pulled
safely.
over for being out. That was a thing up there. Holy shit.
Yeah, you can get a citation for it.
Wow. I
You
don't I
it,
don't
like
even think that existed here. I don't know, maybe in California or some shit, but
in some places I think they actually had curfews and stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah, like when it first began, yeah. When this
Yeah.
whole thing happened, sure. But like not for months now. I haven't heard anything about that here. I mean,
Nah.
yeah, but it hasn't really been enforced here. It was a thing that came up, but that people don't really enforce it much here.
yeah. I said the yeah, I think I just wear a mask now like when I go into like stores and stuff just out of courtesy if anything else cuz at this point that's all it is.
I do it so I'm not harassed by anybody, to be honest with you. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's all it is. It does have a protective measure.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm
It's good
the
to do it for
few
that reason too.
places that I frequent. I mean, to me, I just feel like I'm wearing the mask, so it's all like, look, I'm giving a shit. So when I pass somebody else, it's like, I'm wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask. You don't know where I've been. I don't know where you've been. Okay, great. I mean, yeah,
Mutual
it'd be
respect.
nice if we had a little, yeah, if I had like a stamp on my forehead that was all like fully vaccinated. That would be, a thing.
Oh,
But
did you get vaccinated?
huh? Yeah.
You got that? Oh, nice. Last time we talked, you hadn't yet, so I didn't even realize that that was in the works for you.
No. Second shot was
Awesome.
last week. So
Any side effects or anything?
nope. I had a
Nice.
sore arm after the second one, but that's it. So,
Yeah.
but like I said, I was kind of worried about it because I think we were talking about that before. That what do you call it? The whole thing about like the immune system and how I hardly ever get sick. And then I was hearing that like people that were never sick were all of a sudden like having that 24-hour shit after the second shot, and I'm just like, I don't know, but I don't know. I had to do it anyway because we got a cruise coming up, so I didn't really have much of a choice. But oh well.
Good reason as any to go ahead and get vaccinated.
Yeah, the wife was kind of like, "You need to go get your stuff." I'm like, "Okay, fine." It's like whatever. But at any rate,
And you could save a life in doing so. In all
yeah.
seriousness.
I mean, yeah. Again, I don't really go anywhere, so I'm just kind of like, I go to work, I go home. Yeah. I'm not really worried about uh, infecting other people, so I don't know, but
Yeah, you may be lower risk than some people that are going out more. There's
yeah.
always a non-zero chance, though, right?
But
So
even so, it's
covering all your
just
bases.
yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody's gonna get it eventually anyway, so it's like, why the fuck are you putting it off? It's just whatever.
Yeah,
Just
like
go
in
get it
video
done.
games. Yeah, in video games, I'll spend like millions of currency to get like a 5% boost to something. So like a shot that gives me a 95% boost to avoiding this deadly thing. Yes, please.
Yeah, and it's free, so yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. Like you can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about this last week, and then we had the scheduling issue and everything. But the whole cyber attack in general with the pipeline and everything, like what 3 weeks ago or something now. But
Hmm.
as far as I read an article probably about 2 weeks ago when I was wanting to bring this up, but about the fact that when the pipeline got hacked, they like pretty much paid the ransom to these Russian people like immediately. Like there wasn't, yeah,
5 million or
right,
something.
yeah, it's something crazy, but
Well, the logic is you lose 5 million to get your business back going, which makes you billions of dollars in the long run.
Yeah,
So,
but
no
And
skin off their
possibly
back.
and again,
priceless loss of data that, you know, hard to even put a number on that.
Hmm.
but it's like you do that stuff, and one, like, the government didn't find out about it right away. They'd already paid the ransom before anybody knew really anything about it or what had happened. Um, yeah, I get the point of wanting everything back up and going, but it's like, what is stopping this from happening again? It's like you kind of
Well,
set. I mean, we have this, no negotiation with terrorists bullshit thing or whatever, or I think we do in the U.S. But we have that for a reason, right? It's to prevent people from just doing whatever they can because they know we're going to pay or somebody's going to
well,
pay.
it wasn't the government that paid, though. I mean,
Right.
it was the private entity of the corporation. So,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I
Well,
guess they
and
can do whatever they want to, but I mean,
just like when
they
you
had
have a personal hostage situation or something, like not hostage per se, but like an extortion situation. It's really up to the individual how they want to handle it. They don't recommend paying them, but.
hmm. But here's the kicker: is that could this have been prevented?
And I think that's more the objective of, you were saying about, what's to prevent it from happening again
Yeah.
is, well, once it's happened, then you know where the vulnerability is.
Exactly. I
So
mean, you don't.
hopefully you're
Yeah.
fixing that vulnerability so it's not going to be the same process for them anyways.
do,
They'll have to do something
we don't
else if they
really
want to do it again.
we don't necessarily know that they do know that. They don't necessarily know the entry point, or at least I haven't heard any update, and maybe they do know, and they're just kind of keeping their cards close to their chest. But I haven't heard of any definitive, like, it was the Nigerian prince email that someone opened
Yeah.
up that was like their entry point or something,
Yeah.
or like
But
clicked on the wrong
a
six
lot of
number link or something.
a lot of times we
Oh,
take.
6 number link, huh?
Yeah. A lot of
Like, I know
times
what
we
that is.
take.
No,
No.
Yeah. Oh my god. Derail.
no. What were you
the
saying?
You'll get in.
a lot of times the companies like this, it's like systems are overlooked, like security wise, like cybersecurity wise, because one, we don't really think anything of it. I mean, this thing with the pipeline was just like one isolated incident that probably could have easily been prevented if better security measures were taken. They may not have been able to get in at all. I guarantee you now
I
that
disagree with that.
whatever has happened has been fixed. However the hell they
That-
got in or whatever.
Yeah, and that's my thing too, is because with the way that like corporate networks and stuff are with the bigger companies and the pipelines, people that have the money to put these intricate systems up, I mean, they're monitoring. They have to know how they got in. They have to know, what caused it. And a lot of times, 9 times out of 10 nowadays, the way these ransomware attacks happen is by either a phishing email or it's by
Social
what is it?
engineering.
I actually have to take classes, or not classes, but like little video courses at my job about this stuff. Watch out for this stuff. But what was it? It was phishing, and then third-party applications and software that have the loopholes and the network ins and stuff that they can get into. Just like when they found that guy window something. It was a Russian hack that happened and infected like hundreds of U.S. government securities recently, and all that. It was a third-party application that all these places were using that Russia basically had a backdoor into.
All right. Back to backtracking a little bit. Scott, you said you disagreed on the updating security protocols more often or keeping stuff more current.
No, no, I disagreed with that this is an isolated incident. I don't think this is an isolated incident. This happens every few months, every
Oh yeah.
multiple times a year.
I mean,
And there's even a website that you can go to that like shows like DDoSes happening in real time even, and you can like look up historical ones, and it shows like the map of the globe and like all the like connections going into different countries and stuff.
the
I forget the site, but
at the same time the pipeline thing was going on, lesser known story. There was a ransomware attack on a DC police, District of Columbia Police Department, to where they were somebody had got in and they were kind of holding it hostage, but they were siphoning off like I guess private information or like
That's a
not public
combination of
release stuff. Yeah.
ransomware and it's a combination of a ransomware and where they take your data and threaten to sell it. So it's not just you get the decryption key, but you also have to resecure your
Yeah.
data.
Well, they were putting out like police department stuff. Like, not that I mean, I guess everybody has dirty secrets, but that was the term that was used. Is that they're like putting out their dirty laundry, for everyone to see. But little by little, hoping that they're going to get money out of it. Now, I didn't follow the story. I don't know how that ever ended, or if it did. But I'd figure by now they probably would have released everything they could have possibly found. I mean, it's been like 2.5 weeks, but yeah, I mean, like this stuff happens all the time,
hmm
and
A lot of times they target the smaller to medium-sized businesses because again, they don't have the financial backing to put up the difficult security systems that a lot of
but
the
on
larger corporations do. I mean, you don't see this happening to
Well,
Microsoft.
I mean, it does. Like they do have weaknesses all the time. Like Microsoft systems do get invaded all the time. Like maybe
Yeah.
not.
I'm not talking about like the home operating system. I'm talking about Microsoft's corporate network. Their network is
Well,
not being hacked by people.
but doesn't it only
yeah, I
take
don't
like
know.
one
It's
person
also
opening a shady email on a work computer, and then
Technically,
that's
yeah.
it?
could, yeah.
But training
But
and all
there's
that
just
is key in preventing that kind of breach, if you will. Again, having
so
your staff know what they're looking for. Sorry.
I don't know. I've kind of been thinking about this, and I came up with like a comparison that I haven't heard anybody else like make a similar comparison. There's this idea. There's this thing called the Red Queen hypothesis in evolutionary biology, and it's basically the idea that species can kind of co-evolve in like an arms race fashion, and that kind of puts pressure on the other species to evolve so they can kind of keep one-upping each other. Maybe like predator-prey interactions is kind of an example of that. I think that's a good
Futurama did an
analogy for
episode
what
with
is
that.
who.
Futurama.
Oh, well, sure. I think that is a fair comparison to what's going on here with cyber attacks, like sort of the evolution of technology in this case. There's always going to be, new technologies getting developed, and then there's going to be people trying to exploit that technology. So there's this kind of arms race of people trying to make new devices that are just fun or convenient to use, and also with the mind of security about it sometimes. But then there's also the hackers that are gonna find, creative solutions that are sometimes just stupid solutions to things. The equivalent of like a Jimmy or a shim, for like getting into a lock or a car. The stupidest, simplest things can be the most weakest points. The weakest vulnerabilities. I think the way to look at this is more of an evolution over time. Can we avoid this? Yes, there are some key points I think we can cover for being generally prepared, but there's always going to be this arms race of hackers trying to one up the new security measures.
I mean, cybersecurity itself is a big deal now. I mean, there's a ton of private companies that deal with just this.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can get a degree in it.
And about your evolutionary arms race topic, yes, one of the biggest factors of what they're trying to do to make it harder to do these ransomware attacks and for outside unauthorized, access to networks is they're trying to redo a lot of the way hardware security is done. about what actual devices are able to access what resources and having to be authenticated before they're even given access to a network or something like that. That basically they're trying to rework the way that that is all done to make it more secure.
Yeah. Can I? Have y'all heard of Stuxnet? Are y'all familiar with Stuxnet?
No.
Can't
The
say I am.
Iranian. Okay, that reminds me of Stuxnet, and I learned a new term when reading a little bit about Stuxnet. There's IT, and then there's OT. There's like informational technology. Then there's operational technology, which is like it's the Wikipedia page like refers to it as the technology where they're in the places where there aren't carpet, like in a facility, like in a factory or whatever. So like the machinery, the actual machinery and the electronics that run that, the sensors, all of that stuff. Uh, so Stuxnet was an attack carried out by, I believe, the American government, maybe with a few other governments, and it was a worm, I believe, some type of worm or virus that they had infiltrate Iranian nuclear facilities, and they went after the something called PLCs, programmable logic controllers, the controllers for doing like data acquisition of their centrifuges and stuff, and they were able to tweak that enough that they were able to kind of take a bunch of the facilities centrifuges and kind of have them self dismantle at about the same time uh, with this Stuxnet bug, and it's a really interesting thing. I kind of want to throw that in as like a devil's advocate of like, do we want truly absolute pure impenetrable security on all fronts, or is there actually some argument to be made that that's maybe a double-edged sword, that there might be times where we want backdoors or ways into things, vulnerabilities to take advantage of to prevent Iran from amassing potentially weapons-grade plutonium and uranium?
So, but knowing that, if you were, I don't know, if you were an Iranian or whatever, if you were making a system, you would want to keep people out as much as possible to prevent any damage to your stuff. So at the same time, there's like a scaling, right? So we someone locks it down, somebody races the bar, figures out how to get in. They lock it down again, somebody races the bar, figures out how to get in. You know, back to your whole, war thing,
Race.
I guess. Yeah, your arms race.
And I was just about to say that same thing too, going back to that, because it's if it can be made, it can be broken kind of deal. If somebody puts enough time into it, security is all about making it more difficult to achieve your goal. Make it harder, make it take longer, make it take time. If somebody wants to get into your house, chances are they're going to get into it whether you have a security system or not. It's just, what do they want? What kind of risk, what kind of time, what kind of effort are they willing to put into it to get past your security measures? So even more intense hardware security, I believe, will eventually be broken. That's just the nature of how the evolution will go, because you have to create something and then people are going to by nature try and break it. That's just the way it works.
So you're saying security is like onions. It has layers.
You were just like I saw the light bulb go on earlier, and I'm all like, "What is he thinking about? What is he thinking about?" Like, there we go. Okay.
Always Shrek, every time.
The in regards to the into the pipeline hack, apparently there's a lot of Russian hackers. Almost, I would stand to say that probably more than half of the stories you hear about are hackers from Russia attacking this or that or whatever, or
That's our assumptions.
Trump's email
apparently.
or whatever. But
Well, and there's also like the distinction is there are some things we are able to say did seem like they really did come from Russia. That doesn't mean it was a true Russian. Like Snowden is
right,
over there.
yeah.
He's not, or he was at least. Who knows where he is now, but he is not Russian, but he's there.
Okay, so that they come out of Russia then. Let me rephrase.
Because Russia is so lax, so that might even attract people there.
Well, here's the thing: is
that are going to want to do those things.
Anybody remember the name of the group that hacked the pipeline? Because I don't.
Dark
Dark
something
side.
or
Dark side. Okay.
Yeah.
Dark side.
Well, apparently, and again, it might be misinformation or something, or them or other, I guess, hacker groups or whatever based in Russia. Um, they do a lot of work for the government there, and in return, the government kind of lets them do what they want to do to a certain extent. Is kind of my understanding
A
of it.
little differently. Well, I read it, I guess you could say, a little differently. Whereas the whole deal with Russia and the hackers is that they have so many people that are able to do higher level things, but there's no opportunities for it there. So they go to school and they get this education in programming and technology and all of that, but they can't use it over there. So what they do is they end up hacking other countries and stuff. And there's kind of an unspoken agreement between the hacker groups and between the government that's like, as long as you're not fucking with Russians and Russian stuff, we're not going to come after you. And they go so far as to the dark side is a group of facilitators. Basically, they make it, they connect the hackers with the targets and with the ransom requests and stuff. They don't actually do every aspect. They're more like a middleman to the whole deal. And so this is like a business in Russia where, as long as you're not attacking our country, then we're not going to come after you, and don't make problems for us, you know. But once they start making problems, that's when
Well,
the
there you
Russian
go.
government's going
I
to
mean,
step in.
Well,
this was a problem, right? When they take over the pipeline, of
yeah.
course, if if they didn't pay the ransom right off and they had said, "Hey, FBI, we got a problem here," would it have been as easy as Biden calling Putin and being like, "Hey, we know where this is coming from, shut it down, or we're cutting your aid
Supposedly
off."
he did. Supposedly he has done that about things, and Putin's just kind of been like, No, we're not going to do anything about it."
Well, I was gonna say cut off the aid that we're giving them, and it might be a different story. I don't know, but I'm not really into politics like that. But I just kind of find it
Like,
kind of ridiculous.
yeah, you know, I've kind of wondered with this whole war thing. It might be kind of a repeat of the Cold War in the sense that it might be a really slow start to whatever the next war is going to be. And people have already predicted that, like, the next war probably won't be fought, in boots. It'll probably be a cyber warfare of sorts. And I'm predicting that we won't know that until we're past it or in the middle of it, especially on a public level. Like, we could be looking back 10 years from now and pointing to the 2020 election interference or the 2016 election interference and being like, that was
That
the
was
start of
our
World War II or Cold War II or whatever you want to call it. Like, we could, yeah. I think with the nature of this, how espionage based it is and all, like, we won't really know until it's already happened.
Yeah. But I mean, what's next? I mean, okay, we shut down fuel supply. Okay, great. I mean, it seems like attacking critical infrastructure makes perfect sense for anybody if they wanted to, really mess with you. But what happens when they shut down the power to the East Coast? What happens when they take a nuclear power
Well,
plant offline?
Well, that was one of the hacks from
people have
before
done
with the
that.
power plants and stuff that I was talking about, is when they were hacking all that software that was the third party software. There was, power plants, there was wind, the wind power turbine monitoring systems, all of that. They all had this third party software, and that's what got hacked.
Hmm. There is a some electrical grid, I think in Ukraine or something, that hackers had shut down, and someone had to get transported from a hospital. Like, a woman had to get transported from one hospital to another that had power, and she died en route. And so I don't know what became of it, but this is like the first known case where hackers are being held liable for potential murder,
Yeah, but
which is
that,
like
that could easily
mind
happen with
blowing.
anything.
Yeah, but you raise a good point about talking about critical infrastructure and back to like the OT kinds of things, operational technology. those are often not designed with security in mind because they often don't need to be. They're separated by like an air gap, basically. They're not usually connected directly to like the
Exactly.
internet.
They're supposed to be
But
firewalled from the internet on your private network, and that's where the vulnerability lies, is that if somebody can make it past your firewall.
Right. But
or
that's what I'm
even
saying. It's like,
literally the like they
go ahead. Sorry. You know.
literally like it's called an air gap too. Like literally just having them not even be connected. You know, having space in between them can protect it. It's like security through obscurity. Like if you can't get to the thing,
Yeah, but I mean, everything's
can't
connected to something
connect
at
to
some
it.
point.
But
Yeah, I mean, it almost
right,
is
that's
a
how they
little
did with
unable to be, because like if you think about like medical systems and hospitals and stuff, the CT scanners and everything, they have to be connected to the network. I mean, that's how files are sent from one device to another. If they're not, then you have to talk about a physical medium that you're transporting, and that's not
so.
very useful.
But you're just kind of picking an example. But like
One example, yeah.
there are so like with the well with the Stuxnet thing, like that's how they got in was using the operational technology bits of technology. There's the scientific brand Siemens. They're the ones that designed these PLCs, and so like that's what they were able to take advantage of. But they are apparently air gapped, like they're not directly connected through to the internet, but they so there are data acquisition systems and things like that, control units that are separated, but they found a way to still get to those through I think what they did, I could be wrong, someone out there that's listening can definitely fact check this and teach us about this, but like I think something along the lines of they infected silently a bunch of computers around the world, and this little worm found its way onto like USB sticks and computers all around the world, and eventually it found its way onto like a USB stick or something that made its way into the Iranian facilities or something, and was able to access their data acquisition machinery basically.
Yeah, it's all about getting past the internet block. If you can get onto the local network, then you can pretty much infect anything. Once you get into their domain controller, you have access to pretty much their whole network.
Yeah, but you could, it's feasible that you could have encrypted signals of these data acquisition systems, but they're not because it's often assumed security through obscurity. And that's often good enough, but not always. And that gets to the layers, like encryption is a good technique, or even, other types of techniques like that. But you don't need to do that for these because you're not assuming someone's going to be tapping directly into the wires of the thing. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the stuff that people only do in movies, right?
I mean, no, I mean people do that. Like I was reading something about, like there's a protective measure of people typing in their passwords, and if to prevent brute force attacks, you get like time limits in between guesses and stuff, or you get shut out. Well, one way that people have figured out to get around that is reflashing the memory, basically taking a picture of the memory in like before you ever entered any passwords, then trying a password, then reflashing the chips basically with that previous memory state, so it thinks you never had any attempt, which is just like one way, but that's a pretty neat way.
Well, yeah. But again, stuff you see in movies.
I mean,
I don't know. I've never
yeah,
tried
because
to
I
do
don't do the hacking myself.
that.
but it is theoretically possible and practically possible. What?
Huh?
I don't know. I haven't heard any attacks like that though. What, Rob?
Okay.
You look like
I can try to look it up.
No. I was trying
What?
trying the movie thing. Y'all are not paying attention to Discord. You are not paying attention to Discord.
Sorry, we're into the conversation.
So, who wants a human steak?
How long has it been?
I gotta love it. It's 32 minutes. 34 minutes on that.
I could talk about this for another hour.
Like, let's go.
I know.
Like,
Again, I don't think we ever have a
so,
problem
like-
with content.
No, I was gonna say like maybe we should maybe you should like go for well I mean okay I'd say go for like an hour and 30 but most of the time we go for like an hour and 17 hour and 20 anyway so we're pretty much there.
Yeah.
But no, I was trying to move it along with the movies comments twice.
Yeah, no, we were not paying attention.
So it was not going.
So for everybody that's now totally lost.
Lost,
what we're
yeah.
talking about, yeah. Well, lost in space even. Did y'all watch
Great
the video I
segue.
sent? Did y'all watch the video I sent?
What, the ice
What
cream machine?
video?
The YouTube video?
The ice cream machine.
No, the YouTube video. So there's a YouTube video out there of I think it's Film Theory is the channel name, and it goes over this theory that Wally is actually the people on the ship of Wally. First off, I have to throw out there spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. Go watch it now and enjoy it while you still can, because you won't want to hear what I'm about to tell you.
Oh, I want to
So-
hear it.
The sad truth.
They
I've been waiting a while for this.
the humans in Wally, you know, their ship was only supposed to be in orbit for 5 years while they cleaned up the Earth, right? And so that didn't go well. So they had to enact Operation A113 or something like that. And
Oh, it's
that
a
basically meant
66.
The AI was going to take control of the ship. The AI takes control of the ship, and then we come into the story when they're 700 years later, you know, after this post-apocalyptic event, and they've been on the ship this whole time, and they only had planned for 5 years. So how have they lived this long? Where are they getting the food from? They established that they don't know what plants even are. So the theory
Where's
that
their
this
nutrition coming from?
film theory guy, yeah. And why are there no like elderly looking people in the shots, and no like references? Where did the dead bodies even go? Well, the idea is that they repurpose it, refactor it into food. And so this channel, I love this channel because he does a bunch of what's called a Fermi estimate, like Enrico Fermi. Are y'all familiar with that term? Do y'all know what a Fermi
Yeah.
estimate is?
And
Okay,
not
So
specifically.
anybody that doesn't know, yeah, and it's basically just a back of the envelope calculation to kind of get you in like a ballpark or within an order of magnitude of what might be going on with something. I actually did something similar to that with like gas availability, because I thought we might talk about that with the pipeline thing and how everyone was panic buying and stuff. And I did like a quick estimate to see like, can the average city supply enough gas to fill up all cars, you know, even just the cars, not even accounting for people filling up their laundry bins and stuff. Like, it seemed like
They're
only
plastic
about,
trash bags.
you know,
Yeah. Oh, it's leaking. Let me get another bag. Hold on.
But my very rough, crude, totally inaccurate calculation suggested that each city, like, or across all the gas stations in America, the average was about 10 gallons of gas allotted per car. So not a full tank for every car. Could be totally wrong on that estimate. And there's a lot of factors to consider. I didn't consider the flux in and out of like supply and demand and all that. Anyway, this channel, all of his episodes involve some sort of Fermi estimate or back of the envelope calculation. And so he goes into like the caloric density of a human body, and like apparently we're like 80,000 calories or more, each of us. And he like calculates how much each person would need to, how many people each person would need to eat over their lifespan. It was like 2.5 people. Actually, a very reasonable, plausible number. You know, like it was like some ridiculously small number of people that you could survive off of. when repurposed into cupcake shakes and stuff like that.
Cupcake shakes.
You know,
Okay.
oh yeah, you haven't seen Wally yet.
Yeah.
Everybody
No, I
always
have.
drinks
I have
cake.
not.
Wall-E,
I have
man.
not seen. I have not seen Wally. I was just.
You don't
I was
know
just
what I'm
talking about
talking
this with
about.
Joe before you got on because, I mean, I've had 2 freaking weeks since we didn't do one of these last week to
I know,
watch
you
this
can barely
damn
find the
movie, and I
time.
still haven't. Yeah, I know, and I still haven't. But yet, I found
tried
time
once
to
and fell
watch
asleep.
Die Hard, the first Die Hard, again last night as I went to sleep. I found time for that. But that was a Warzone thing that just got stuck in my head.
Yeah,
so it's
he
whatever.
got nostalgic.
Yeah, I did.
Oh yeah. Nostalgic of the old war days back in your day.
Well, no, the Die Hard movies.
Uh,
I'm a big Die
what does
Hard
that
movie
have to
fan.
do with Warzone then?
They have an event going on where it's 80s superheroes, so they have Bruce Willis and Sylvester Stallone as like
Ah.
winnable skins or whatever, or purchasable skins. So the theme is Die Hard and Rambo, right?
Yeah,
Ah,
but
I see.
so 80,000, right? 80,000 calories per person.
Or more. Like there was another study that came out that
Well,
had
I
a
would
little
hope
bit
it would
over
be.
100,000.
Yeah, I would hope it would be more because, I mean, just weight wise, like I'm pretty sure that I'd probably have to get Nico in here, the nutrition
Yeah.
expert, to verify all this. But I mean, just offhand, like 3,500 calories is a pound basically. If you eat
Can I
3,500,
stop you right there?
what?
Water has no caloric weight, no caloric value.
Right.
You're mostly water, so you're gonna have to. You're like
Yeah, but I mean, even so, I
Only
mean
like
that comes out to like
20%
22,
actual
23 pounds per person of actual like
Yeah.
food, I guess.
I mean, this guy was quoting a study of actual scientists that study this thing. So I feel like they'd probably be able to get much closer to an estimate than we can.
Yeah, and I'm just
But
bouncing
that could
numbers
still be wrong.
around.
That
but-
that study was from the 50s. Yeah, that study was from the 50s. There was one that came out more recently that had the slightly higher number. But it's a tough thing to pinpoint.
So 150 pound person minus 70% for water weight. Not that it's going to be exact because water and rest doesn't weigh the same, but it's roughly about 45 pounds of material then without the water, roughly.
Material.
Well,
Human
So
material.
you said a pound is what? How much?
So you're saying I'm a
36?
material
30.
girl.
Yeah, it's 3,500 calories equals a pound. So
So that's roughly 157,000 calories supposedly then, based on that
No,
very
it
rough.
depends on. No, it depends on a pound of what. A pound of uranium is way more calories than that. A pound of
okay,
I would hope you're not getting
That
uranium
is-
out of people.
a pound of fat is.
okay. So
Anyway,
a calorie is a unit of or a measurement of energy, right? That's all a calorie is. So that's where all this stuff comes into play. But yeah, so just dietarily speaking, 3,500 calories is a pound. If you eat 3,500 calories, you gain a pound.
No. Nope, wrong. If you eat a pound of fat, it's way more calories than if you eat a pound of lean meat. That is just
Well, right, but I'm just talking
it
about
has more caloric
calories.
density.
If
Fat
you
does.
if you eat, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you eat. If you eat
Yes, it does.
3,500 calories,
It's not always going to be a pound of material.
no, but
It
you will
depends on
gain
what
a
material you
pound
ate.
in your body. You
He's
will gain a
saying-
pound.
Yeah, he's saying you will turn 3,500 calories
That's
into
not
a
true.
pound of body weight.
Fat? No, that's definitely no. That's not true either.
I'm not sure where you're getting.
have
that
not
from
gained any
either,
weight.
but-
I ate probably 3,500 calories today. I did not
Yeah,
gain a
But you
pound.
also, I mean, depending
I
on
stayed
your
about the same weight
yeah.
all the time.
But depending on your body weight, you also
use
burn that
weight,
as
yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
So there's a chart or whatever, depending on your like height and body weight, whatever. And I don't think age has it. I think it's just height and weight. But if you laid in bed for 24 hours straight, you will burn a certain amount of calories doing absolutely nothing just to stay alive.
Yes.
So
So you
part
may
of
not.
that,
What he's saying is you may not gain any weight even though you're eating the calories
Right.
because you're burning the calories off as you're eating them.
But you can't put an exact number on that because it depends on a pound of what. It's not a pound makes you 3,500.
No, see, that's where you're. No, that's what you're. That's what you're getting back up.
Something does
He's
not
not
make you
saying.
gain a pound.
Hold on. He's not saying you eat a pound of fat. It's 3,500 calories. You're going to gain a pound. That's not what he's saying. He's saying if whatever amount of food that you eat, doesn't matter how much it is, if it has 3,500 calories, your body is going to transfer it into 1 pound of you.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah,
because
that doesn't
that's-
really make any sense
because
to me
it's
either.
still-
Joe.
3,500 calories is the amount of energy your body needs to produce what it needs to survive, I guess. To make 1 pound of your fat or flesh or whatever.
It still depends on what you ate. Like, yeah, like if you ate all that in potato chips, you're not going to have enough amino acids to make the proteins you need. Like, it depends on what you eat. Like, I just don't understand that estimate. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not a
It
nutritional
doesn't make
scientist.
sense
Okay.
that 35
So-
is going to eat.
35
Neither am I, but like
35,000 educational weight loss sites use this general rule: 3,500 calories equal 1 pound of body fat. That's what it says.
that. So that might. That's probably like if you were to actually burn that fat, how much calories that material
this is-
worth.
This is like the new
that's
thinking
still
of like
talking
weight
about
loss and
how
stuff.
many calories is 1 pound of fat? This is, well, hold on. So that's what it is. It's a pound of fat that we're
Yeah.
talking about, not a pound of protein, not a pound of
No, pound of fat.
polysaccharides. It's a
Pound of body
fat,
fat,
which is the
yes.
most calorically dense thing. Yes, but they're probably using that to discuss what the caloric density is of the atoms in really the molecules in a pound of fat versus the molecules in a pound of protein is not going to have 3,500 calories. It's probably like 2,400 or something.
No, it wouldn't.
Like they do those not what?
I said no, it wouldn't be, because protein is going to have less calories than fat would. So a pound
I
of
just said that.
yeah, right. That's what I've said. It wouldn't be.
2,400 is less than 3,500.
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. Okay. You're like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, no.
It would be lower. I was like, what? Anyway, yeah, I think that's what they were saying. It's like a pound of your fat, just a pound of like triglyceride fats is 3,500 calories, give or take.
Right. But in regardless, like, I guess it was like the new, like I said, Nico is the expert on freaking dietary shit. But I say expert loosely. I mean, he's 16. But at any rate, that's like the new way of thinking. And then people, like, when they had the low carb diet shit, whatever, people would lose weight very quickly, but then it would come right back because of things like water weight, for one, and the fact that a low calorie diet, or I mean a low carb diet, is in fact a lower calorie diet. So everybody just kind of considers that calories are the thing now, whether you eat, whether you get calories from a fluid, from like a soda or something, or whether you get calories from a fucking hamburger. A calorie is a calorie. So anyway,
I've
totally
heard
off
that
topic, but
I've heard that it's people. I mean, dietary science is actually kind of a big problem. It's actually more pseudoscience than it is science.
no, I would think so.
From what I've heard, it's actually more that it's not just about calories. That's a good metric for reducing it if you're trying to keep track of those things quantitatively, but you really need to be thinking about macronutrients and micronutrients to really be getting a full, like, balanced diet. I don't like using the word balance because that's a good pseudoscience-y term, but like, yeah, to cover all your bases, it's not just the number of calories. And I want to just go back and dispel a potential confusion or something that got muddled in there, that it seemed like you were saying, and I think other people might have this confusion, that if you eat 3,500 calories, then that will turn into a pound of fat. That is definitely not true.
No,
They're just talking about the caloric density of
right.
if you literally took the pound of fat and burned it in like a fire, and we can measure how much energy that gives off.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm saying that for any of the listeners out there, because that's a confusing nuance that, like, just because a pound of fat can, if when burned, produces 3,500 calories of energy, does not mean that if you eat 3,500 calories of energy, you're going to turn into 1 pound of fat. And some people might, like,
you're going to be the blob.
Fair thing for someone to assume that doesn't have a degree in bombs. That would be crazy, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what
Michael Phelps would look like. You know, he had like 10,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
He'd be fucking
but he also burned a shit ton of calories a day.
Yeah.
So
it's true. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, for next podcast I'll see if I can get Nico to join us, and then we can debate all that. But now, as far as cupcake shakes in people,
delicious. No, I don't know. He even talked about how like straws can like mask the flavor. So, and sure enough, every cup in the movie has straws. Like, because I guess it's not I don't know why he didn't explain it, but my assumption was like it's like coating your palate less
surface area,
so you're able to kind of
it's just
shoot it to the back of your throat.
Just swallow.
Yeah, it's the whole point behind getting drunker off drinking alcohol through a straw. You get drunker faster, apparently. That's a thing. I don't know.
What is behind
I
that?
always assumed that was more because the alcohol is denser than the water, so it goes to the bottom, or maybe it's the opposite. I thought the alcohol settled, and so if you're drinking from a straw, you're drinking the bottom of the glass, which is where the alcohol is.
Well, so it depends on what you're drinking.
Floats.
I'm not sure if water is more dense than alcohol or not, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure water is more dense.
Why don't we Google?
But sure, I'd be willing to bet on it, but not a lot. I'd bet you a drink.
Speaking of alcohol, water is more dense than alcohol. Boom.
Haha. And I'm more dense than both of them.
Interesting. Okay, so my theory is completely wrong then.
You want to know a random factoid?
Always.
Saturn is actually
alcohol, right?
I didn't even let you answer. You're gonna hear it anyway. Damn it. Saturn. If you could have a large flat pool large enough, Saturn would actually float. It is actually more buoyant, less dense than water. Which makes sense. It's a fucking gas giant.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it gas?
If you think about it too hard, then you'll never get a flat pool of water that to float Saturn on. It's like a meaningless thing.
I mean,
it would be so dense and so big, it would be a fucking black hole instead.
Don't they teach you that in like sixth grade science class? You know, when you have like the water and then you boil it and it turns into vapor and gas and goes out. Don't they teach you that? And
no one ever taught me that.
So it's like kindergarten.
Like when you try to imagine that, like if you could imagine in an ideal like holodeck type world, like Saturn could fucking float on the ocean. I don't know. I think it's cool.
It is neat, but we're sadly never seen it.
Because of the sheer size, yeah.
Yeah, but Jupiter wouldn't. It's a little bit denser. It would actually sink or be somewhat buoyant. But yeah.
So Jupiter's more like people then. We sink.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Unless
Mars is even denser.
Unless we arch our backs on top of the water and then somehow we float. I don't know.
Or if it's salty water.
Yeah, because the salt increases
salty water
buoyancy.
It's the density of the water. Yeah.
Yeah, but not the density of us.
No, that's just natural.
No. Anti-vaxxers do that to us.
You
There's
still,
a
I
lot
was,
more than just them.
I was gonna say, how many of those do you have in Canada? Because I'm not even gonna talk about the U.S. because it's just stupid. But is there a lot of that in Canada?
I mean, there's not a lot of people in Canada. So,
They've all died of COVID.
no, like I haven't been here long enough, but like, yeah, it's almost certainly a thing, just as much as it is there, because it's such a complicated topic. There are the clear, obvious, outspoken anti-vaxxers. Then there are the vaccine hesitant people, and it's a whole spectrum of like, whether or not someone wants to get vaccinated, why they're hesitant or whatever. And yeah, it's a
when you have the
people are just people, and they've all got their own ideas about stuff.
when you have the people with their little picket signs and stuff at the vaccination places trying to cough on people in Canada, let me know.
I haven't read about that for Canada yet. I've seen that for America, though.
They're too nice
Yes.
to do that kind of stuff.
I was like, we do that to
Yeah.
people here apparently.
They just be like, "Hey, could you stop that, buddy?"
Yeah. Listen, those are
Although-
some of the picketers or the protesters that I'd like to run over with my car.
Although apparently Canada has had some pretty serious serial murders, though. My mom's been watching some of these, murder mystery shows or whatever that she watches, and apparently you guys have had some pretty serious killing sprees go on up there, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
and
2 weeks
so
ago,
is
we had 10
America.
people killed in Lenox Mall in Atlanta. So
Nice.
yeah. Nobody ever hears about that stuff, though. We keep it under lock and key.
Well, 10,
was-
it's not at a school and it's only 10, so
Right. Yeah.
There's another shooting very recently too. Don't remember where.
oh, there's shootings every day.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, every day.
No. Yeah, I mean that's true, but there was like one that made like national, international news, like another mass shooting in America.
Hmm.
Forget where it was though.
Oh wow, a mass shooting that I haven't heard about yet.
Yeah, I haven't heard
I
of
don't
it.
know.
Maybe you
what it
have, and what's the date today?
Oh wow, I don't even have to like. I
29.
love Google. I type in most
I
recent
mean,
MA and then it fills in mass shooting. I was just like, California transit worker kills 9. Extended U.S. mass shooting epidemic. That's 2
Mississauga.
days ago. 8 people killed. San Jose becomes 15th U.S. state with mass shootings so far in 2021. That was 3 days ago. 8 killed in San Jose mass shooting. So all California right there is probably all the same story. So. Oh wow, there's actually like there's a flow chart for mass shootings in 2021.
Lovely. Put the link in the Discord.
I don't know. Like, let's see here. Oh, see, mass shootings are not. This is like 2 people. That doesn't count, right?
I think anything over 1 is considered a mass killing. I mean, think about the
especially if it's public, in a public place, I think.
So San Antonio,
But I don't know.
Texas, it actually gives you the addresses of this shit too. So 2 people. Okay, the biggest one, California, San Jose, May 26th, 2021, 10 people. And then it goes 2, 4, blah, 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 1, 2. All right, so there's not a whole... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's another thing here. Oh, okay, there's an injured list too. Killed
No
and
widely
injured.
accepted. Okay. No widely accepted definition of the term mass shooting, but it is basically anything involving multiple victims.
Okay, so North Charleston
2 or more.
had 13 injured with 1 killed. So, as I guess mass shootings are injured too, because there's on this list there's quite a few that have no actual deaths,
you would
but
be a
there's
victim if
injured.
you got shot
Yeah.
and lived.
Of course.
You would still be a victim. I would feel pretty fucking victimized if I got shot and I still lived. I wouldn't feel anything if I didn't live.
Wow.
This got dark.
Yeah. we
It's
were
bedtime now.
we were just talking about a nice
Can we-
little movie and
can we go
eating
back to
people.
Wall-E
Yeah,
and
can we
Canada?
do this?
Eating people.
Yeah,
Somehow that sat better. With
we
me.
said.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's one of the charts I found. But
Interesting. I'll have to look into this.
yeah, but apparently the most recent
Oh,
one
actually-
is San Jose here, so because that was like 3 days ago. But I don't know.
That might have been the one that I heard about. Yeah, it's kind of sad when you don't know which one I'm talking about because there's too many.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Which
Which
recent
one? There's so
shooting
many
are
to
you
choose
talking
from.
about? Like,
we-
can we at least get it?
Which
Can we at
one
least
was
get
it
it East
this
Coast or West Coast? I mean,
it's like
Yeah,
it's such an
ballpark.
occurrence that like I don't even think most people give a shit anymore. I really don't. It's just like we hear about this shit every
Like-
day, and I even stop hearing
I
about
mean,
it because I don't
give a
look
shit,
for it.
But I give a shit. It's just exhausting and saddening. Like it hurts.
Well, at least it
that
hasn't
this happens, that
desensitized you
People
yet.
go through this every day. I mean, I hope I don't ever become desensitized to that level. Like
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
total
crappy
lack of
human beings
empathy,
out there,
sure,
but
but
there's
yeah.
good human beings out there. We all have pain receptors and we all feel pain, and I don't like feeling pain myself, and I don't like wishing that on anyone.
Well, I guess that
even
depends
if
on who
they're a
you
bad
talk to, because there's
person.
plenty of people that enjoy pain. So
yeah, there's a couple people that really like it.
That's fair, but they probably wouldn't enjoy it to the point that it caused them to not be alive anymore. But yeah, that's a fair point.
I don't know. I
our
haven't been
brains
able to
are
ask
so weird,
anybody
and we
who's
can
tried.
turn the craziest. I mean, that's fair. I'm sure there's been one sick freak that's enjoyed it, but yeah.
I mean, come on, we have like people like a while back with that whole like trying to like the whole passing out thing or whatever. And it's like people were dying
Yeah.
over that, and I'm like, okay. We're not even
Well, they
talking
probably
about
didn't
doing
suffer much.
things that like inflict pain. We're just like, oh, let's block off our airways till we pass out. That's smart. I mean, come on. There's people what with the whole the Tide Pod thing and the fucking bath salts before that, and I mean, I think I even saw something like forever ago that was like, you know, the bleach challenge, like trying to like get people to drink bleach or something. I don't know. But
Yeah, and often those things start out with one person doing it as a joke, and then other
Yeah.
people mimic it, either not realizing it was a joke or not realizing to what level it was a joke.
But again, this is why the
Yeah.
internet is
Don't
bad.
drink bleach.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
yeah.
shouldn't have to
Disclaimer,
say it.
do not
Don't drink
try this
bleach,
at home.
Don't eat
Yeah.
Tide Pods. Yeah, we do not condone this.
No, but again, this is what the internet does to people. And then there's fucking morons, like literal, like, I mean, I hate just using that as a general term, but
People that
because
should
it may or
have
may not be
access to the
true, but
internet.
it's like, how dumb can you really be? I mean, that's, I don't even know if dumb is the right word. It's just, I don't even know. It's like, I would never look at something like that, even as a teenager, because there was plenty of stuff going around when we were younger. It just wasn't in front of us all the time like it is now. I mean, we did tons of dumb shit. You know, that whole passing out thing. I mean, that wasn't anything new. I mean, how many times have
No,
people
no.
like from when I was in high school, you know, taking like whippets and doing duster and shit or whatever until we fucking passed out. The same basic thing. I mean, we weren't trying to like literally block our airways with our hands, but again, or have somebody else do it, which is even worse. At least when you fucking pass out, if you're doing it to yourself, you let go.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's like, yeah, I mean, we didn't have the whole the social everything that goes on now, and it wasn't televised in front of us. But we still did dumb shit.
Well, I can tell you one thing that, like,
I
for
mean-
my whole life, everything I remember, I never once got an inkling to go under any kind of sink and drink what's under there.
Yeah,
I knew
exactly.
that drinks come from the faucet and from the fridge. Why would
Thank
I go
you.
drink the bleach under a sink? I mean,
That's-
and that I think is the distinction of common sense versus stupidity.
Right. That's I'm like.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to eat
did
a Tide
that.
Pod.
Oh.
I'm not going to eat a Tide Pod.
Yeah.
There's chemicals in that are bad.
I was
you
like,
know?
I did not look at fucking. I mean, of course, we didn't have Tide Pods back then, but I mean, I didn't look at freaking, this liquid washer soap or whatever the fuck it is, like the regular liquid Tide, to be like, oh, let me take a shot of this. This looks tasty. Never. I don't care how colorful the
'cause it doesn't
packaging
look like-
was.
It
Yeah.
doesn't look like little candy bits, though. It just forbidden candy, man. It looks so
Yeah,
good.
we're
Can't
gonna
deny it.
go with that.
It does look good.
Yeah, we're gonna go with it. So somebody,
It's
so
like
the
blue.
parent had to have taken it out of the package from the laundry room, right? Which, of course, if you're a kid that's little enough to be able to get into that stuff, I mean, obviously you should keep that stuff on a higher shelf, away from
There are
children.
many
anyway.
things we could go through here, but
But
yeah.
even as a teenager, if you go and get a Tide Pod out of a fucking package, you know damn well that's not edible. I don't give a fuck how whatever or gullible or whatever or not, lack of common sense you have. If you're from at least, I would say 7 up, you know you're not supposed to eat that fucking thing. I mean, come on. Now, if you're a little kid and your parents took it out of the package, unwrapped it for you, and said, "Here, play with this," well, that's another story. So,
Even left it where it was accessible and you got to it, maybe, but as a little kid, yes.
Yeah.
As anybody 10 and older, you should not be doing that.
I would
stuff.
go
I mean,
past
you
10.
should have that kind of education at the minimum. That, hey, this is something we clean our clothes with, not something we ingest. You know, I mean,
Yeah, but that's one example that's obvious to us, but then there's what Trump said about like bleach and stuff and like hydroxychloroquine and stuff like that when talking about COVID treatments. And there was people that found similar chemicals in like fish treatment stuff, and they actually like tried to inject that shit. And I think the guy died and the woman was in critical condition. People like just because you're over 7 doesn't mean you don't necessarily know, and people with big platforms like that are really dangerous. Like Joe Rogan is a fucking like loon. He has admitted he's an idiot, but he is also spouting nonsense about anti-vax stuff.
I absolutely agree that there are some people that just have way too much power and they don't even know it. They are just out there online talking, and they have these thousands and thousands of people that follow them, and they don't realize what they do to these people, and that it is very sad. I agree.
but again, it
But-
comes down to like, I'm not going to listen to Joe Rogan and take everything he says for
Exactly.
fucking word to word. Just like
That's it.
whatever that Trump thing was with the fish
Joe-
and the injecting. I'm not going to attempt that. Like, why the fuck would I attempt that?
Well,
That's what I was going to ask you, Sky.
and Joe Rogan says you shouldn't.
Is
Go ahead.
exactly that. If somebody says this treatment or whatever, this medically proven treatment for something, whether it be for COVID or not, is working, oh, well, let me go out and find something with that in that. Is that something that you would ever do? I mean, it's about the mentality of the person who's going to think that, hey, oh, this has something similar. Let me shoot that in my arm. I mean, that is a different mentality than me, you, or Rob would ever be.
I get what you're saying. I think it's a little unfair. Like it's a bachelor's degree, but I have a degree in biology. It's not a lot, but like I probably have more fundamental knowledge to be a little more skeptical of those things than any average person that doesn't have a degree in biology. And so I don't want to just be like, oh, they're just stupid. Like they might not just be stupid. They might be really fucking desperate because they don't want to die of this thing and they can't afford shitty American healthcare. And so they do what they think they have is their next best option, which the guy on the TV that runs the country said it was okay. So maybe I should do this. There is obviously a lot of disconnect there, but there's also like
when did
the
Trump run the
problem
country?
arguably initiated with Trump. Fair point.
When did he ever run the
I have
country?
repressed that out of my memory too. It's like a dream or a nightmare. It's past us. I don't even know if I lived that. I don't even know if I'm still dreaming or if I'm gonna wake up and it's 2000.
You're
All
gone. You don't have to
I don't
worry
even
about
know
that
it's
anymore.
very-
You're
I'm
out.
hoping it's.
He tore up
So,
his
yeah.
U.S. citizenship when he crossed the border. He's like, I'm never coming back here. Fuck this shit.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I just carry it around in my pocket. U.S. citizen. In like my handwriting.
Yeah, there you go. I printed this out online. Hey, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't know. Like, you got to remember too that a lot of these people, especially talk show hosts, they go out looking for ways to entertain a particular audience, and that's kind of what their job is. So, if they can stir up something, and not necessarily in Joe Rogan's case, but I mean, it's just kind of what they do. I mean, it's supposed to be entertainment. So if they can go and find information or make a joke about something or try to say, oh, well, I don't know why everybody's like so concerned about this. We got this over here. That's what they do.
when it when it is a news outlet, though, there is a really fine line between entertainment and actually trying to be informative or really being misinformative. Like, there's a fine line between misinformation and just being entertainment. Tucker Carlson definitely is misinformation, but he tries to argue it as entertainment. Fucking Alex Jones does the same shit. It's ridiculous. Like,
But again,
it's not.
even
Yes,
our
they
news
can pass
networks
under the
aren't even.
guise
Yeah.
of it's just entertainment,
But
but they feed into the motivated reasoning that their people have. Like you say, they're saying things to appeal to their base under the guise of just being entertainment, but they're saying things that these people believe or want to be true, even if they're not, based in reality. And so they're feeding into that, and that is a real issue. I think
It's
that's
dangerous.
why the things like the skeptical movement, it's very dangerous, and that's why there needs to be kind of a counter movement, which the skeptics movement is. Being a skeptic is kind of going against the people that tout all this misinformation and use these shoddy tactics, or that can hardly say they're shoddy. They work, but they are manipulative as hell.
So, but what defines what's misinformation and what's real information? Like your sources?
Whether or not it actually pertains to reality. Yeah.
Again, it's subjective.
If you are saying vaccines cause autism, that
Well,
is
okay.
misinformation, because everything that we do actually know says that that is not the case.
Yeah,
And
but
so if you're saying that,
for the normal
that is
person,
misinformation.
they're going to go online, they're going to look at this and then go, okay, well, I want to find out information about whatever, right? And then they might find a site, okay, look, oh, this looks reputable, fine, great, click on that, read that. Could be totally wrong, absolutely 100% totally wrong, but they think it's reputable, so why wouldn't they believe it? Until they go and talk to somebody else and someone's like, what the fuck are you smoking? But again,
Where are you going with that?
huh? Well, his point being like, oh, well, this is misinformation and this is real, but you're still getting a source from the internet. Where's the difference?
I mean, not like, what is the difference between different sources? A lot.
Well, right, but I mean, if
Like
I
a
go and
world
look
of
up a
difference.
topic and
If
find
you're
something
getting-
that's wrong, and look up the same topic and find another article that's completely the opposite of it, how do I know what's right and what's wrong?
You're kind of
If I don't know
giving like the thought experiment as a non-expert. How
Yes.
would you even be able? You don't have the tools to kind of discern.
How
that.
do you determine
That's
it?
a very fair point, and that's why it's
big
easy
part
for
of the
these
problem.
people to spout so much misinformation.
Yeah, and then you hear stuff from
Yeah, you get
like
people
doctors.
like Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil.
Yep.
Yeah, Jinx.
Yeah. But it's like you're supposed to. You would think that you would be able to trust a doctor, right? Maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, Zoidberg is a doctor in art history.
Oh,
Yeah. So, again, it's, and then I guess to go back to your little skeptic thing, right? Because if you're gonna
My
look
little skeptic.
your little
thing.
skeptic thing, yes,
Let me-
your
let me
skeptics
point out,
your
here's
skeptics
my little
movement,
skeptic thing.
yeah,
Here's my
You
little
know.
skeptic thing. That's
Why
it.
not?
All right.
your skeptic movement. If you're gonna question everything, then where does that stop?
That's questioning. I mean, that is like a pithy thing to say, question everything, and that's true, but not to the point of cynicism. Like, skepticism should be informed by science. So, having the added layer of scientific skepticism is really the gold standard in my view. It's the best option we have. Science is awesome. Like, it has brought us literally every technology we have, even the wheel, like the methodology of science. That's because it's not a thing; it is a methodology. Skepticism is kind of a filter at which that methodology can go through, and so it helps to try to answer that complicated question of, how do we discern the misinformation from the actual information? You can't just go to one expert and be like, well, Andrew Wakefield says vaccines cause autism. He's a doctor. He must be right. Well, the scientific consensus and all the other people that researched this that didn't falsify their data, as he was found to do, they say that it doesn't cause autism. I'm going to go with the scientific consensus.
How did you find out?
I don't
How
need
did they
to do
find
all
out
this,
that
like,
he?
deep research to.
How did they find out that that he falsified the data? Because they did their own independent research, right? And got something completely different.
Well, the they is not one other party. Like, there were many different independent scientists that studied this. They weren't the same people investigating Andrew Wakefield, though.
No, but
They're independent
they
research scientists
in
studying.
grammatical English means multiple, so yeah. I mean, they would have been.
But it's
whoever.
also non-specific in a sense.
True.
Yes, so I just want to make that ambiguity of they clear with what I'm trying to say.
Okay, well let me roll back then. With the Andrew Wakefield thing, okay, so why do we know that his data was falsified? Let me just ask that.
Someone investigated or something. They looked peer review basically, which is another part of the scientific method.
One of the biggest
Peer
parts.
review showed that
Science never says that anything is really definite. It just says that this is our best understanding of how it is. With all the data that we have interpreted, this is the way it is. This is the way we believe it to be. And the wider accepted theories are what we consider to be known. Like,
but so how do we know that they didn't falsify
general
data?
Relativity. It hasn't been proven wrong yet. That's why it's the widest accepted theory.
the odds of multiple different independent parties all falsifying it and getting away with it when one independent scientist couldn't himself and got caught doing it and lost his license because of it, like.
But it could happen.
Like,
it could be a conspiracy.
It could be a conspiracy. I mean, there are possibilities, but
this is why I don't like the skeptic angle. I don't.
So no.
Aren't you actually being a skeptic yourself, though?
Well, right now, yes. I'm doing it on purpose.
No. No, you're not actually, though. Like, because you're leading to conspiracies. That is exactly what skepticism tries to snuff out. You shouldn't jump to conspiracies. That's cynicism. That's jacking off or just asking questions.
Oh, I do that a lot.
Like, you're jacking off. Exactly. You're just asking questions, but it's like, that doesn't mean that it's. What did you say again? Like, what was your statement? No.
Which one?
I had a statement.
How do we know if? How do we know if all these other labs falsified versus this one guy?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be trying to push an agenda. Everybody got together and said, "Hey, we don't like this guy. Let's get him out. Let's just make up our own stuff. Everybody has the same thing. He's going to be wrong. He's gone. We win. Moving on." I mean,
I would say that where that is a possibility, the probability is probably lower of something like that happen. For the simple fact that, again, it does lean more to conspiracy theory than anything. It's not just being a skeptic.
You're not
all
basing it
these
off of any
people are.
evidence.
Yeah.
You're basing it purely off of speculation. There's no evidence to back up your claim that there's this grand conspiracy going on. And mathematicians have actually modeled conspiracy theories and how many people, like modeling it based off how many people know the conspiracy and where is like the threshold for it to break out, you know? And the grander the conspiracy and the more people that know, the probability goes to zero real quick if more than just like a handful of people know. It goes to zero real quick.
Probability
so
of a conspiracy being
really
true?
Slim that all these yes, the probability of there actually being no. The probability of the conspiracy getting out. So like, because what you're saying is maybe there's this conspiracy that no one's discovered yet. Well, if it took a lot of people to do that, the odds of that are basically zero.
Oh, I
For
got what
grand
you're saying.
For conspiracies
The
that
more
involve
people it
100
takes
or more people, there's almost
cover it
no
up, yeah.
chance that it can stay under wraps.
Yeah.
But
I
if
see
it's a
what you're saying.
conspiracy within like GM Motors and only the 3 highest most people know about it, those kinds of conspiracies do happen. They can and do.
That
There's
goes with
only
the
a few
saying.
people that need to know about that.
That goes with the saying that the only secrets that will ever stay is if I keep it and I kill you. Like if I tell you a secret, the only way that that's ever going to stay a secret is if I kill you. Basically,
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Well, never try to tell me a secret.
Have y'all watched that show Ozark?
I have not. I've heard
Ozark?
of it, but I haven't watched it.
Oh man, it's really good. This is kind of reminding me of that. But yeah, y'all should definitely watch this. It's like Breaking Bad level tone, if not better.
Oh, cool.
It's really.
Well,
I've heard
love
it
Breaking
referenced
Bad.
to that show too. Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, definitely should watch it.
All right, and on that, I'm going to call it. Thanks everybody for watching. This was Technically Incorrect. Like, comment, subscribe. If you like the video, blah blah blah. I don't think we have anything to add at this point, unless you want to put a plug for Ozark in the description. But at any rate,
to donate so I can get a mic.
Yeah, we need
a
mic
button.
And I didn't want to say anything during the thing, but your audio and your video is all out of sync as well. I don't know if you noticed that or not, Joe.
My audio and video?
No, Scott's.
Scott's, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
his audio is behind. Say anything because I didn't want to stop it, but
no. Have you stopped recording it?
It's fine, huh?
Did you stop yet?
No, we're still recording.
Cool.
It sounded like you were going to say something you didn't want to say on camera. Anyway.
No. When?
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Peace out.